One man committed to the cause of free speech is United Australia Party Senator Ralph Babet, who joins us now. Ralph, is it my imagination or did the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer look at Australia's e-safety commissioner and say, look, hold my beer when it comes to free speech online?
Mate, Keir Starmer, this is just my opinion before you or your lefties start having a go. Keir Starmer didn't just look at our own e-safety commissioner. Keir Starmer cast his mind back to 1930s Germany, and in my personal opinion, relax guys, it's just an opinion, he looked back to what the Nazis were doing and he says, I'll have a bit of that. I'll have a bit of that. He looked back to what the Soviets were doing and he thought, that sounds pretty good. That's who Keir Starmer is. I'll tell you why, Ali, because in my opinion, just my opinion, Keir Starmer, actually, it's not even my opinion, this is a fact. What am I talking about? This is a fact. Keir Starmer is more beholden to globalist special interests than what he is to the people in his own country. How do I know that? How do I know that? Because he said so himself. In an interview a little while ago now, he was asked, where would you rather be? Would you rather be in your nation's parliament or would you rather be in Davos? What did he say? He said, I would rather be in Davos. This is the man who's in charge of the United Kingdom. I know I'm ranting. I can't help it. I don't like Keir Starmer. This man is the epitome of a grifter. He's the epitome of people who should not be in charge of their nation. And the problem with Keir Starmer is that we have our own little Keir Starmers sprinkled around Parliament House right here in Canberra. I know this for a fact because I know these people, unfortunately.
It sounds a little bit like Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who side-eyed Chinese communism, but I quite like the look of that, as did his father, by the way, who thought Chairman Mao was quite all right despite all the murdering and starvation that went on. Look, Twitter CEO Elon Musk has gone after the UK government over their threats to jail Brits for reporting the news and extraditing foreigners like you and me for what we say online. He even got the hashtag two-tier Keir trending. Now, is the Starmer government leading a war on free speech, starting with Elon Musk?
Absolutely they are. But you know what? It's not just the Starmer government. Those very same types of apparatchiks that are crawling their way through the UK's parliament, like the insects that they are also crawling around the halls of Canberra right here. This is very important for your listeners to understand, and I think many of them probably already do. But your elected member of parliament, the guy or girl who you see on TV right now, is just a mouthpiece. They are a puppet. They are beholden to the special interests within their respective parliaments. I'll give you some examples, okay? Labor and Liberal, they'll fight like cats and dogs, about issues which do not matter, which are inconsequential, but they'll always agree on the big ticket items. Some examples right now: digital ID, passed by Labor, not a Labor idea, a Liberal Party idea. They just ran out of time to get it through. The Voice, Labor went out with The Voice, but they both supported it. Liberals said legislate it, and Labor said put it in the Constitution. Basically the same thing. Globalist organisations, UN, WHO, they are both beholden. Just the same. Disinformation, misinformation bill. They both want it. It's just who's going to get it through first. The e-safety commissioner, put into her position of great power by the Liberal Party, supported and emboldened by the Labor Party, and then you've got Peter Dunn coming out and saying, oh, she's doing such a great job. These guys, left and right, it's fake. There's no real choice if you vote for the big party on the left or the big party supposedly on the right. They are exactly the same on matters of importance and significance because the special interests control these halls of power in every hall of power across the world. Donald Trump refers to these people as the deep state. He's not wrong, but who is the deep state? It's the bureaucratic class. Doesn't matter who wins the election, the bureaucrats, they stay the same, they don't go anywhere.
Well, it's interesting that you talk about some of these policies, Senator Babet, because the normal process of Parliament is to look at each policy separately and to assess that policy on its own merits. But what we've actually got is this nest of ideas and new legal constraints on various parts of our lives that are all going to come into law at the exact same time. And when taken together, they present a serious risk to free speech. One, for instance, is digital ID coupled with the disinformation bill. What happens, Senator, if you post something online or you go to a rally and the government says, sorry, we don't like that? Can they just delete your life and lock you out of society?
Absolutely they can. And, it's not a conspiracy theory. They're already doing this in communist China right now. You do something online that your government doesn't like, over there anyway, it affects what's called your social credit score, where the government ranks you as have you been a good boy or girl or have you been a bad boy or girl based off what you do online. And if you've been a bad boy or girl, and Ali, both you and I, I'm sure, would have very low social credit scores if we were in communist China, you lose certain rights and privileges that you had before. For example, you can't catch a plane. You've got to take the train or a bus or something like this. So the digital ID combined with the dis and misinformation bill, at first it will come and it will be smooth. Probably not much will happen. But when you give the government the tools that they need to implement tyranny, we know from history that they always will. There's only one constant when it comes to government. And if you look throughout history, and that constant is the government always gets more and more authoritarian and more tyrannical. When we put new bills in place onto the legislative books, we need to think, okay, this government right now is not going to push that hard, but what's a government going to do in 5, 10, 20, 50, 30, 60 years down the track? What's going to happen then? Let's not give these people the tools to enable our own enslavement. That's just silly. I obviously I push back against stuff like this. I'm at the forefront of all this stuff. I'm not okay with any of it. But you know what? You at home, mum and dad, you voter, get more involved in politics. Send more people like me to Canberra to fight for you. I'm fighting for you, brother and sister. Send more guys like me.
Well, Senator, you should always draft policy and review policy as if your great leader is Kim Jong-un. That's the whole idea. It has to be able to survive a dictator. That's how good your policy should be, and that's not what we're seeing right now. But you say this is all going to take a long time and be slow. I don't think so. Having watched the UK in the last week, I took a week off, and the UK decided to burn itself to the ground. And surprise, surprise, we have The Guardian running an article from a former Twitter employee, Bruce Daisley, fantasising about the UK issuing an arrest warrant for Elon Musk. And he wasn't the only one. This was a long whinge about regulating social media via the Britain's Online Safety Act of 2023. What are they going to do, Senator? Empty the jails of these 40,000 actual criminals and put wrong-think people in there? Put Elon Musk in there?
Yes, they will. They absolutely will. And all we need to do is look at history. Political dissidents are always locked up eventually. If you don't agree with the people that manipulate the levers of power and you continue to give these people more and more power, eventually, yes, they come after you, mum and dad, for wrong think. Yes, they're going to come after me even though I'm a senator. Yes, they're going to come after you, Ali. Yes, they're going to come after you hiding behind your fake Anon account on Twitter or wherever else you're posting. They will eventually come for you. They will. You know what? Let me refer to Trump for a second here. So Trump likes to use the phrase, they're not after me, they're after you. I'm just in the way. And that's very, very true. Once they get those big scalps, you're next. You are next. I'm telling you now. I've been yelling about this since the day that I got elected and I first set foot into this God-forsaken, degenerate, evil freaking building in Canberra. The people in this place are overwhelmingly not good people. Let me say it again. They are overwhelmingly not good people. They are easy to manipulate. They are easy to purchase. They do what they're told. They have no backbone. And I wouldn't hang out with these people if I had a choice. I just wouldn't. You need, I'll say it again, you need to send better people that have some freaking kahunas, that can stand on their own, that can do what's right, no matter what all the little degenerates are saying around them. You need to send better people here. The people here do not give a flying F about you.
Senator, there goes your afternoon pub invite with your fellow peers down there in the Canberra bubble. Look, there is actually one crack here and one problem with this approach that I'm seeing. The left has spent all of its time and all of its energy and all of its money trying to coerce the youth into voting for them. That's the whole point. That's why they've got these lower the voting age to whatever. But cracking down on social media isn't exactly popular with the youth, and it certainly won't be popular when they start being erased or they bring in Facebook ID for facial recognition for Facebook like Dutton wanted to do. Do you think that maybe there's a problem going to arise here where social media and people like Elon Musk might be more powerful than our short-lived governments?
In a fair and open marketplace, people like Elon Musk could potentially be more powerful than our government, but it's not a fair and open marketplace. What is going to happen is our governments are going to put in laws and things of that nature to crack down on people like Elon Musk. They obviously don't want us to be able to speak freely. But here's the thing, right? They will very easily be able to convince people to accept these draconian restrictions on their ability to speak freely, because they'll sell it like this, like they sell everything else. Oh, it's for your safety. Don't you want to be safe from extremes? Don't you want to keep your community safe? Don't you want to keep your children safe? Don't you want to keep your friends safe? And it's always safety. Safety is the big one. Very easy to sell things based on fear and based on safety. So, but the kind of safety that these globalists have in mind is basically the kind of safety you get when you're in a maximum security prison and you're locked in solitary confinement. That's the idea of safety that they have. And this is just an analogy here, I would rather live in a very unsafe world, and I will take my safety into my own hands because I'm a free citizen and I'm an adult and I can decide what's good for me and what's not good for me. So you know what, we need to push back against all this kind of garbage, and we need to make sure that when the time comes, when they push this stuff, when they start saying safety, 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 I've said it here, this is going to take potentially years, but they will start saying it. You can look back on this video and say that Babet guy, he was right.
This is why I still hold on to the old imagery of Twitter as the bird, because I liked the idea of the bird cage and Elon Musk unlocking the bird cage and little Twitter birds flying free. I think that was such a perfect metaphor for our free speech and the state of our public forum at the moment. Look, Senator, Black Lives Matter burned city blocks to the ground. They assaulted people, they killed people, they looted stores, they tore down statues, they vandalised public buildings. They set up a utopian colony called Chaz, if I remember correctly, but at no point did the left beg for social media to be silenced, and they didn't demand an arrest warrant for Jack Dorsey, who was in charge at the time. So when the left incite mobs on the street for socialism, it's called activism, but when the right do it for freedom and democracy, it's called hate speech. So are we living in the late stages of a revolutionary period?
Maybe we are, but this is the thing about the left, right? The left at the moment, they control all the institutions. They have their hands on almost all of the levers of power, so they can dictate what happens next. But the thing about the left is we need to also think about it this way. The left are only useful idiots, right? They are being used as a means to an end by the globalist class. That's what's happening here. Most people on the left probably don't even realize that they're being manipulated and used by the globalist class. And what do the globalists really want, right? Let's just break it down. The globalists want what all globalists have always wanted. They want more power over individual nation states. Now, the only way that you get more power over an individual nation state is you have to destroy that nation state. You have to destroy its culture. You have to destroy the allegiance that the people who live there at the moment have to that country. Mass immigration is a great example, where they're bringing people in from cultures that aren't aligned with the people that live, as an example, in our country here or the UK already. By doing that, and that's a leftist policy, obviously, they can erode what it means to be a citizen of that country. And through that chaos, through that destruction of the architecture, the people, the family, the everything, right? You eventually come to a situation where a predatory globalist class can come over the top and take ultimate control of that nation. That's what they need to do. They're doing it all across Europe. They're doing it in Australia. And then eventually they're going to offer up a preconceived solution. And that preconceived solution, which they're already working on now, is global government, global police force, more global laws, etc., etc. When you do that, you weaken your individual nation, you hand power over to the guys that are up here, and now they control you. It's what they want, it's what they're doing. It's clear to see if you're not half retarded, but they use the left as the useful idiots to push all these nation-destroying policy through.
Well, these so-called smart people are not very good studies of history because it never ends the way they want it to end. Final question and quickly here, Senator. Would you feel safe travelling to the UK? And I don't mean the machete capital of the modern world. I mean, do you fear that you might actually be charged or arrested by these new hate speech laws that Starmer is trying to bring in?
I would never, of course I would fear. I'm not going to go to the UK anytime soon. The place is a dumpster fire, not just in the sense of the political issues that they're obviously having at the moment where they want to lock up their political enemies, but just the physical safety of the place. I mean, every other day I hear of someone being stabbed for a watch or stabbed for an iPhone or something like this. I am staying the heck away from the UK for the foreseeable future. And the UK, it should serve as a warning to us here in Australia. They're only some years ahead of us. But I wrote an article about this for The Spectator quite recently. You guys can go and Google that, type in The Spectator, but then it'll come up, read it. But the UK is some years ahead of us. The same unrest that is happening in the United Kingdom will eventually make its way here. We have imported far too many people into this country that are not culturally aligned with the people that already live here. I'm not against immigration. I'm very pro-immigration, but it's got to be sustainable and from cultures that are aligned with ours. I mean, how is this not common sense? Oh, shit, I'm in Canberra. Of course it's not common sense, right? But this is what we need to do. We're only some years until we're there as well. So what we need to do, I'll say it again for the third time, Mum and Dad, get involved in politics, send people like me to Canberra.
Yeah, don't have the regret that our UK friends are having for staying home and not voting, and now they're kind of wishing that they did. Look, Senator, that's all we've got time for today. Thank you for joining us here.